Live.
Okay, hello. Let me switch over to live on my channel. How do I do that again? Hi, everyone. I'm just working out the kinks in this channel, so you're welcome on me being technically 3 minutes early because the countdown still had 3 minutes left. But welcome back to if Gengar is joining us, who was the only person who saw episode 1 of Geek Speak.
Yay!
Um, We are back. We're doing it again because we just enjoyed having a chat last time and we figured, why not have round 2?
Exactly, why not?
And this time we've scheduled it earlier so you can have a normal lunchtime and
Yes,
not
I
a late
I
lunchtime.
can. It's fine
um,
either way.
okay, so I figure we can go through again. So for those of you who don't know, I write for geekbomb.net, and at Geekbomb we do a thing called playing, watching, reading. And I was looking on the website, we actually used to do doing as well. So if you're like
Ooh.
doing anything fun or whatever. So I thought we could kind of go through that list, and then obviously we'll get sidetracked and talk about all of the various things that we're way too into at the moment.
Okay, sounds good.
Um, so I have been recently playing not so many video games, but more tabletop games. I don't know if you've
Okay.
ever played Betrayal at House on the Hill.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I wrote this article about how to play it. So a plug for my article, go check it out on geekbomb.net. But essentially it's this kind of RPG tile placing game where
Okay.
you're taking on a haunted mansion, and every time you walk through a door, you place a new tile. So the house kind of like builds itself as you explore.
Okay, cool.
After like a certain amount of time, you come across so many omens and events and whatever, and you trigger the haunting. And depending on like what's happened throughout the start of the game, a certain person in the group will betray the rest of you, and they kind of go off and read a book to tell them what kind of scenario they're going to play out and what their new win conditions are. And then the rest of the group reads their own book, and it says, something's happening in the haunted mansion and you need to kind of defeat it. And it's really, really fun because if you have a group of people who are really into roleplay, like if you're like, I play often with my Dungeons and Dragons group, so obviously we're
Hmm.
pretty comfortable being stupid in front of each other. Um, and we've been really enjoying that aspect of things.
Yeah.
So I think there's 6 characters you can choose from, and I find the most fun I have is when you like really embrace the character that you've chosen, and you just get into the game. It's like, I think one of my first games, I turned into a werewolf, and my win condition was to run around and turn everyone else into werewolves. And I don't know, I just got really into it. It's just such a fun game, and it's got so much replayability. Because I don't
Okay.
know, like something like Monopoly or Cluedo is the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
But this game, like, it's always different because the house is always going to be a different layout because you're building it as you go. And I don't know. I know you don't play that many tabletop games. I'm assuming your playing is going to be a video game, but would you be
Yes.
interested in something like that?
That sounds amazing. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
kind of game that I would love to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and especially if you've got like the right group of people. Like obviously you don't have to
Yeah,
get into the
yeah.
role play stuff. You can just play it like rules as written.
Yeah.
But it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and if everyone's kind of into it and like accepts the premise and how it goes along, then yeah, definitely that sounds fun actually.
Yes, I thought it would be something that you would be into. And I think it's
Yes.
games like that can be a really good like, I don't know, situation to get people into playing Dungeons and Dragons because you don't have to build a character and learn the rules and kind of, that intimidating roadblock that some people can see before getting into that. It's like
Yes.
you have a character and all you have to do is flip tiles and explore a house and then figure out how to win. Like
Yeah.
there's not too much for you to learn, so chuck in the roleplay aspect and it's a nice little way to kind of get into those kinds of things.
Nice.
What have you been playing?
I played Spider-Man Remastered on
Yes.
PS5, and I've never played the DLC before.
Okay.
So I actually finished that this week, all 3 chapters.
Nice.
The DLC was like just as good as the story in the game. And I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever said that about DLC in a game.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Possibly ever.
Okay.
Have you played it?
No, not the remastered.
Okay.
Should I
Have
pick it up?
I would say yes. If you loved it, Like I only played it like on PS4 once just to kind of play enough to review, finish the main story, and then there was too much other stuff going on. Whereas this
Hmm.
time I just kind of like just sat with it for a while. And yeah, so I'm gonna try and platinum it, which is not something that I usually do because I'm like, yeah, on to the next.
Yeah, I'm the
Um,
same as you. You and I obviously play a lot of video games for work.
yes.
So so sometimes I feel like 100%ing is not something I can do. So I like commend
No.
your effort there.
Well, I haven't done it. I'm gonna try, and
Okay.
I've said this before, and then I never end up doing it.
I guess we'll
But
find out.
like I have a friend Ryan who will just be like, "Oh yeah, platinum this game. Oh yeah, platinum that game." And I'm like, "You have kids. Where do you get
Yeah.
time and I don't have time?"
Yeah,
Crazy.
exactly. It's all about that dedication, right?
Yeah,
Maybe it's because
exactly.
we have to play so many games at the same time.
I think so because you're in the middle of playing something and then you get a code for another game and you're like, oh, oh,
Yeah.
I want to play that. And then you'll be getting into that and then it's on to the next one. And then you got to write the review and yeah, you know what it's
Yeah.
about. Process.
And all the indie games as well. Like so many people are only playing those
Yes.
triple A's and
Mm-hmm.
they're missing out on some cute games.
Yeah, totally. And they're not like big open world gonna be with you for 100-hour games. They're like
Exactly.
fun things that you just give you like a break from life. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. What else? Okay, watching. What have you been watching this week?
Well, so we've been trying to watch. So I don't work for Looper, but they did their release of the top 20 shows of 2020, and there were a lot on there that I hadn't watched. And one of the shows was Legends of Tomorrow, which I haven't watched for a very long time.
Okay.
And it's Luke's favorite DC show, and he
Hmm.
gets cranky because I always want to watch Supergirl. Anyway, so we started watching it this week, and it is like just balls out crazy, and I love it.
Oh, really?
It was already like wacky, but they've like kind of embraced it now, so it's like really kooky.
Okay.
So yeah, so we're gonna
Cool.
try and get
My
through the
lights are turning on and
season
off.
slowly. Ah, hello.
It's okay. I think they're back now.
Okay. What about you? What are you watching?
What am I watching? So the problem is not much. I'm
Oh.
kicking through Sabrina. I'm trying to get through that. It's you know what? Sometimes I feel like those Netflix original shows should stick to the first season.
Or
Um,
or two, like have
yeah,
yeah two really good seasons and be done. Yeah,
just give me a break and but like take some longer time. You know,
yeah.
just you don't need to crank them out that quickly. I can be patient.
Mm,
Give me a decent show. I look, it's not terrible. It's just not the first season, you know?
yeah.
Not quite
I
there.
know. Oh, I love that
Um,
show. Ugh.
there's a few other shows that I really want to check out on
Mm.
Netflix. I still haven't watched I forget the name of it, that the haunted, what's it called?
Oh my God, The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yes, thank you. I still have to watch that. You
Oh
were raving about it last week.
yes.
But mostly this week I've been focusing on when I get home, I'm watching a lot of Twitch. So you've been streaming a little
Cool.
bit more. Um, one of my friends from work has been streaming like almost every night, and I just
Oh
tend to watch
wow.
his streams. He's been playing a lot of Call of Duty, exclusively Call of Duty, and I suck at Call of Duty, so I'm trying
Ditto.
to
Yeah.
absorb as many tips from him as I can. Um, but then sometimes I feel like instead of watching people stream, I should be streaming to try
Yeah.
and,
You get that
you
like
know,
oh yeah
yeah, I could
yeah.
be improving my skills here instead of, just laying back and
Observing.
watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of Twitch. Geek Bomb has also been streaming, but they tend to stream in their evening, our morning. So
Oh right. Okay.
sometimes I'm at work for those. um, but Geek Bomb's been streaming a lot of Among Us, a little bit of Fall Guys, and then just chatting as well. So I think Twitch has become like my main entertainment source when it comes to watching.
That's not a bad thing. I've also been watching Twitch nightly.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like get into bed, and just like yeah, pop on a streamer and then find recommended streamers and then before you know it, it's 2 in the morning. Why am I awake?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
not a bad thing
Um,
though.
no, no, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. What else? I've been getting really excited for some shows that are coming up. So did you see the clip that they released from WandaVision?
I was hoping you were going to say WandaVision. No, because I don't want to watch any more. I saw the trailer that
Right.
came out before Christmas, and yeah, I just don't want to
Mhm.
watch any more until it comes out.
Okay.
Um,
I did watch it. I'm not going to give you spoilers.
okay, cool.
It looks like an amazing show, and
Yeah, well,
a little bit more creepy than I thought.
do
You
you
know?
know what's really interesting is I read an article today, is that they're releasing these episodes weekly, right? So that will take us up to March, and then the Falcon and Winter Soldier show starts when that finishes. And then that will
Nice.
go, and then the Loki show starts when that
Okay.
finishes. So we're going
Oh,
to have a
really? So they're
Marvel
back to back,
show pretty much all year, as well as the movies.
which is
So
amazing.
we've
How
gone
are
from
they
like
making this much content?
zero Marvel in 2020 to
Yeah,
like,
to Marvel
whoo,
overload.
2021, here you go, bang,
They
take it
must have spent
all.
all last year just filming
Yeah, or just like
or
editing and
editing.
yeah,
Yeah,
editing, special
which
effecting
which is amazing.
stuff.
I am unbelievably excited for one. Like, you know me, I'm a DC fangirl through and through. So for me, watching Marvel, I don't know, I don't get that excited about it because I'm not that excited about the characters, but WandaVision is definitely, I think they're just taking a different approach. And
Because it's so
um,
different, yeah.
yeah, exactly. I'm working on an article of comics you should read before you watch that as well. And
Oh,
so
cool.
I've been getting a little bit more invested in these characters too.
Oh, that's so good. I can't wait to watch
Yeah,
it.
I know. And then you
Oh,
were mentioning what's coming out before Loki or Loki, I should say. I don't know why I always call him
lucky.
Loki. I know. So
So Australian.
I know,
Um,
Loki, mate.
the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is probably the one that I'm least excited about, to be
Right.
honest. It looks very much like a 90s action thriller movie made into a series, and I don't know, I'm like, those are probably my two least favorite characters in the MCU. The
Yeah.
trailers make it look very like buddy copy, and I'm just not.
Right.
I'm not
Are they the same
excited.
actors from the
Yeah, yeah,
film?
yeah. Yeah, same actors,
Okay.
yeah. I'm just,
Interesting.
I don't know, I could change my mind when I watch it.
I guess we'll find out, right?
Yes.
What else? When it comes to watching, I was taken back to Wonder Woman 1984 this week because there's been a lot of chat around a bit of rivalry between Snyder and, well, Zack Snyder and Patty Jenkins. So,
I heard about this.
in an interview, Patty Jenkins said, this film, they were kind of going with, I guess, a less aggressive Wonder Woman. If you saw the film, you noticed she didn't have a
A
sword
lot
or a
less
shield.
aggressive, yeah.
Um, they leaned heavily into her nurturing side, which I think is great. And then I guess Zack Snyder released an image. I think Patty Jenkins' exact quote was something along the lines of Wonder Woman shouldn't be beheading people or holding severed heads, something to which Zack Snyder knew exactly what she was talking about, which was an image he almost used in a film of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman holding three severed heads,
Uh,
which they couldn't use that photo for several reasons. One being that it was technically set before Wonder Woman's first
mm,
trek to Man's World and Patty Jenkins' video, so I guess not a canon photo, but the fact that Patty Jenkins called him out for that image that he wanted to use, I think was interesting.
that image made me very excited.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
want that
I
Wonder
I
Woman.
feel like that would be have been more interesting than World War One because we've already seen World War One in a
Yes.
million different movies. Um, so this, I don't know, this would have been a very different take,
Yeah.
um, and obviously a more violent take on the character. But I think one of my friends, I was talking to my friends about this yesterday actually, and he said that his issue with Wonder Woman 1984 is Gal is really good in the action, but not so good at the emotion and crying,
Right.
and it feels a little forced in
Mhm.
1984, which is why they didn't really like it.
Okay.
But when she was, action, it was fine. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
interesting.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but apparently
I can
that's
see, I guess
a
everyone can
take.
see Snyder's take on the DC universe. It's definitely a bit of a darker take. And I think given the as much hype as there is around Snyder Cut, that there is definitely a lot of whether or not they're DC fans or just fans of comic films in general that are interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a high level of hype around it, like you said. But me coming from a comics background, I love Patty Jenkins' One Woman. And I agree with her. I love that nurturing side. And I thought it was badass her not using the sword and shield and using her other, like the headband and the
It's
bracelets of submission and stuff.
it's also like a sword and a shield in 1984. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't
Doesn't really fit.
work. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like it's really picking, really,
I
really
have
picky.
questions around. So obviously, the God Killer sword was destroyed in the first film, and we see her using a different sword in Justice League. Although
Hmm.
I guess now technically Justice League is not canon, so it
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter, right?
doesn't really matter.
Mm.
But I wonder where her sword went, or if we're gonna
It's
get it. I
probably
mean,
in
her shield
storage.
went. Yeah,
It's probably in
yeah,
storage
true.
where the golden armor was.
Yeah, you're right.
All in a
She's probably
store
hiding that somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
Yeah,
thing, like
true.
she's been on Earth for so long, she's probably traveled to all these places and just has like, caches of stuff everywhere.
Yeah, you make a good point. I just thought it was interesting to see how many people were supporting kind of that Snyder um, side of One Woman as opposed to Patty Jenkins, even though she kind of called him out. I mean, she brought it upon herself. She was the one who mentioned the photo, so
Yeah, she probably
albeit for
shouldn't
him to,
have.
yeah,
Yeah.
because Zack
But
definitely
like
took up that challenge to show it.
she's she was very honest about Joss Whedon as well.
Yeah.
Saying that she didn't agree at all with the way that he portrayed the character.
Oh, okay.
And interesting enough, Gal went back to do reshoots and refused to do a lot of them, and her stunt double had to do a lot.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Most importantly, the Flash scene. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's not a spoiler, it's been too long.
No,
Um,
yeah,
you know when the first Steppenwolf fight in the tunnel,
yeah.
and um, the Flash goes to like pick her up and then falls on top of her, and it's meant to be
Okay.
funny, and everyone just kind of
Right.
cringed and went, "That wouldn't
Yes.
happen.
Yes.
That's weird." Yeah, so she flat out refused to do that, and that's why you couldn't see her face because it was her stunt double.
Right. Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. Um. Yeah. And was Gal Gadot producer of 1984?
I think so. Yeah. So it was
Who had
her,
a
Zack Snyder, Deb Snyder were all producers.
Yeah. Um. I didn't know Zack Snyder was still a producer of 1984 because I'm not
Yeah.
sure I saw his touch in it. You know
I
what I mean?
really so that whole first scene in the
Hmm.
Colosseum was him,
Interesting.
which is very interesting. And then
Hmm.
apparently after that, him and Deb were just kind of in and out, and a lot of everything else got blamed on Jeff Johns. Eek.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I read a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I think it's part of the job. I didn't know. I
Yeah,
didn't know any of
just
that.
to
So
find out stuff and yeah, like he is one of my favorite directors, so I'll always like want to see what he's doing and what he thinks.
yeah, I mean that makes
Um,
sense.
but yeah, I'm really interested about Wonder Woman to see the difference between her in Snyder Cut and Justice League.
Yeah. I think everyone's kind of a bit excited to see what happens there.
He did say there's a lot more action though. There's a lot more Wonder Woman action in Snyder Cut, which was a bit cheeky.
Yeah, I'm here for that. Is how long is Snyder Cut? Like seven
Four
hours
hour,
or something?
4 hours.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, so
Go.
apparently, in America it'll be 1 hour installments every week on HBO Max. And here, so it's already listed on the Google Play Store and iTunes to pre-order to
Okay.
purchase in
Yeah.
Australia, but there's no news if it's streaming So the streaming equivalent is binge. There's no news if they're going to pick it up.
Right. Okay. I wish they would, please.
I hope they do. I
No.
think it would help um, their fan base if they were to get it. A lot of
Yeah.
people would subscribe just for that, just to even
Yeah,
watch it, right?
I would.
And
I
they,
don't think I want to go watch a 4-hour movie in a cinema. Like
no,
I want to do that at home.
I think they might do because it was filmed in IMAX, so I feel like IMAX might do like a special event,
Yeah.
um, once or twice. But yeah, I can't see it being in high rotation for 4 hours.
No, I can't.
It's also a really
Um,
long time to sit and not move.
it is.
So it's kind of
I need to
good
give it
for,
intermission.
well, yeah, home viewing. You can get up and go, okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Fingers crossed we do get that. I don't think I've heard any news about
No, nothing for
anything else.
Australia, but
Yeah.
the campaign apparently kicks off in 2 weeks. So the Wonder Woman
Okay.
84 ramps down and then Snyder Cut ramps up. So,
Okay.
yeah, hopefully we'll get something
Interesting.
soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Other films we were writing about on Geek this week that I'm really excited about. Is it Raya and the Last Dragon?
Oh,
Raya?
Raya, yeah,
And that's is it
March.
Disney's like kind of I guess the first animation that they're putting out this year or something?
Yeah, it comes out in March. It's pretty soon, but
The art looks beautiful.
I'm, yeah, silently very excited for this.
And that I love how Disney's putting out these films just straight to Disney Plus. So I don't know if there's going to be an extra charge like there was for Mulan, but
No,
it
it's not.
looks
That was
stunning.
just for Milan.
Yeah. No, I'm here for that one. I am really looking forward to that. We were also talking about the Kingsman,
Oh,
the prequel
yes.
to Kingsman.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Um, that looks stunning. Yes, please. Give me
hmm
Ralph Fiennes any day.
I will miss no Taron Egerton though.
Oh, true.
But I do like the idea of that time period. I
Yeah,
really like the
definitely.
idea of that time period.
Hopefully, it's a bit more steampunky. That's kind of
Yeah,
the
that'd
route
be
that I would
cool.
like it to go down.
Oh, okay.
And the other writer that works at Geek was saying that we might even see that on Disney Plus, which would be interesting.
Well, we get so sorry. We get Disney Plus Star next month.
Mhm.
So that's kind of going to be like Hulu Australia.
Okay.
So all of there'll be like, you know how when you log into Disney Plus now and you get like your Marvel, Star Wars, Nat Geo
Yeah.
stuff,
All that
Pixar,
fun. Yeah.
there'll be one called Star,
Okay.
and that's where all the adult stuff will go.
Okay.
So it's probably, all of the Hulu original shows will go there.
Right.
And then all like the adult content from like 20th Century Fox and like all that kind of stuff will go into that section, so it's away from
Perfect.
children.
Yes. I
But
mean,
yeah, that makes me really excited. But they haven't announced content yet,
oh, really?
so I'm like, oh, if they could just come out and go, bang, this is what it is the day
Yeah.
before,
Hmm.
or yeah,
Disney's kind of big enough that I think
yeah, they
it
don't
can
have
do
to make
that.
big, longing, lingering
Yeah.
announcements. Yeah,
No, they just do something and everyone follows. So,
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I'm getting really excited for the stuff that they're doing. And I guess the other one that I've been reading heaps about has been Eternals. Have you been looking into that at all?
No, because I think I want to. I think,
Go into it fresh?
yeah, that's what I didn't like about Captain Marvel. I think that's why I was disappointed. I did so
Right.
much research into the character. I watched any of the cartoons she was in. I played some of the games she's been in, read some of the comics, and then I went to the movie and I was like, well, that was disappointing. And I don't want to do that for Eternals.
Yeah.
I just want to
I
go
hear
in
you.
fresh. Um, it's like that. What was that TV show that everyone hated that Marvel did? Inhumans.
Right, yes.
So I knew nothing about Inhumans. I watched that
Mhm.
third episode and I loved it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I love these characters. That dog. Oh my God, I want that dog. And everyone's like, this sucks. It's not like the comics. I'm like, oh, I
Oh,
liked it.
okay. Yeah.
So I think if I don't go in with a whole bunch of comic knowledge to a new, like, this has never been done on screen before, right? So they'll explain a lot. So I don't feel
Mhm.
like I need to go and do that research. I can
Yeah,
do it
exactly.
after and then get into it after, right? That's if
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
sometimes I think that's the way to go about it because
Yeah.
um there's only been one time where I've watched like a comic book or book novel adaptation to film and been like that was better than the source material. So I
Oh,
think
was
you
it
can
Rise of Dark Phoenix?
no. It was actually not a comic book film.
I was joking for the
Dark
record.
Phoenix. Uh, um, no, it was actually. Have you ever watched? I think it was Book Thief. Is that the name of it?
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, yeah.
I preferred the film to the book,
Oh,
which
wow.
apparently is
Okay.
controversial, but I really did. Um, but yeah, no, I'm getting really excited for that, and I think I'm excited because I've been deep diving into the cast list, and I didn't realize that Angelina Jolie was in it, and I'm a huge Jolie fan, so
Really?
yeah, interested to see her character and like how she fits in with the mix of everything.
Yeah, I want to go rewatch that. I haven't watched it for a while.
So it should be fun. Um, and then Black Widow, I mean, that's coming out in May, and I don't
Oh,
know
I want
who
it
is excited for
now.
that.
Oh,
I think everyone's really such an interesting. I think all Black Widows must have such an interesting backstory, just
mm,
because you know I am so excited to deep dive into their organization and what's making them a Black Widow and what's made her kind of like the Black Widow. Although I know that Black Widow is supposed to be like the world's best spy, but how is she the world's best spy when we all know her about her? That's my only
I
like everyone
know,
knows who is. She's not
yeah.
doing a very good job at hiding it right now.
No, she's not. I
But
I
yeah,
think the cast on that too is amazing. Like Florence Pugh, Ron Perlman, like
yeah.
like amazing cast. So yeah.
And we've been waiting what 11 years now for
Ugh,
this to come out.
I
So
still can't believe that she got a movie before. She got a movie after Captain Marvel. It still boggles my mind.
yeah, maybe they were trying to throw us in. Like we already knew about Black Widow, but they wanted some hype around this new DC character. But I think there's a lot of DC. I just said DC
Yeah.
MCU character.
Awkward.
See, just goes to show they have DC on my brain. Love them. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think Black Widow is just a much loved character from that
Yeah,
universe. So
definitely. Especially for
hopefully,
after Endgame and everything. Like,
yes.
I don't know. Kill one of the Chris's. We don't need one of the Chris's.
That's, we've got too many
Well,
Chris's.
technically we did, but you know.
Yeah. Um, I think that was all. I mean, June, but June isn't coming out until heaps later in the year, so we don't need to
And
talk about that
that's
now. But
very
everyone should go read the
controversial.
book. Oh,
Mm.
is it? I've not
Mm.
heard any controversy.
So you know about the HBO Max cinema thing, same day?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
So because this film was actually made by Legendary, not by Warner Brothers.
right.
Warner Brothers is just the distributor. Legendary are quite upset and
Interesting.
want it just to go to cinemas and nowhere else, not to HBO Max. Um,
Okay.
they just reached an agreement because they also did Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
So they've just agreed that that can go to HBO Max. I'm like, well, if it was like the last two Godzilla films,
Yeah.
I'm,
HBO Max is fine.
yeah, I'm not going to pay to see it.
No.
Um, and yeah, but for June, like based on the trailers, I do want to see this in IMAX. Like,
Yes.
I saw the trailer in IMAX and just like jaw hit the floor. So I really don't want to watch this at home. Well, it wouldn't be so bad for me because I've got a projector. But like if I just had like a normal TV, I don't think it would have the same effect. And I think, to be honest, that's what happened with Wonder Woman 1984. But anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. So much drama around Wonder. Actually, two of the most read articles on our website this week were Wonder Woman articles. So there's definitely a
Oh,
lot of
really?
controversy going around.
Well,
Yeah.
if you look at it, so before it came out in the US, so it came out in Australia, UK, and another country first, and it was like
Mhm.
88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
from like 108 critics.
Right.
And then it wasn't until it was released in the USA that it all just went plummeting
Yeah.
because everyone watched it at home on their TV. We all watched it
Interesting.
at the cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe there's some theory behind wanting everyone to go see things in the cinemas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, at least then I guess you're getting true fans or people who really want to see it, as opposed to people who can just are just curious and will watch it on a stream.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's the
True.
difference, I guess. Like higher viewership, but like a negative sentiment almost. I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, no, it should be.
Hmm. Interesting. Watching. I think that's all that I'm watching at the moment.
Okay.
Is there anything you're excited for that's coming out soon?
We've pretty much listed most of it, I
Yeah.
guess.
The
Um,
hype.
yeah, hype is real. I'm going to see music this week.
Oh,
I
hello.
know it's very controversial.
I tried to go to a gig, but
I
then the Brisbane lockdown happened, so the gig was cancelled.
sorry, the movie's called Music. Sorry.
Right, okay, never mind.
Sorry.
Continue.
Yep. Zip. Sorry. The movie Music by Sia.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see it. Very excited. Um,
At the cinemas too.
at the cinema, yeah, this is like, um, because we're not in a lockdown area, we've just had like a slew of invites. So pretty much most of January is, gone now with like 3 movies a week. I'm like, oh, normal again.
Amazing.
So
I
yeah,
think yeah, I don't think I've heard anything about that.
it's also controversial.
Okay. I'm sensing a theme
Which,
here, Ali.
yeah, I know, right? So the lead actress, sorry, is the girl who has been in her music videos. You know the one I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
that dancer, yeah.
Yeah, so she plays a girl with autism, and everyone's up in arms because she doesn't have autism,
Right.
and that whole. She's an actor,
Yeah.
she's playing a role, that's their job. Anyway, so I don't have an issue with it,
Okay.
but yeah, it'll be interesting. It's got a good cast,
Yeah.
and it'll be interesting to see how Sia is the director.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
So I'm more interested from that angle than
Yeah.
the acting side of it. I'm more looking
Yes.
at how she goes behind the camera and if it works or not. Because directing a music video for 5 minutes is very different to a full length feature film.
Okay. It is very different.
So yeah, we'll see. But
I
yeah, we're
mean, Sia's
doing.
pretty talented, so maybe
Yeah,
she'll pull it
she
off.
is. Yeah. We are doing. So we've had a bit of a forced creative break. Um, at NovaStream just because last year was horrendous.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, so we're coming back with a Robert Eggers fest. So we're going to do a deep dive into his movies, so The Witch and The Lighthouse,
Hmm.
which I haven't seen for a while, but I'm definitely keen to watch them again and kind of do a deep dive into those films. Have you
Nice.
seen either of them?
No.
You should watch both, especially The Witch.
The witch sounds scary.
No, it's
Okay.
like Salem around that period when women were
Okay.
witches. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think I've heard something about that. Like I think I've done like a watched a set tour on YouTube or something because the set is really beautiful. Is it like it's set in
Yeah.
Salem, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible. Such a good movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, The Lighthouse was one of my favorite films of 2020. Um, yeah, amazing. Like black and white film, filmed all in black and white in
Wow.
like that old school aspect ratio, and it had Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson
Oh, really?
as
I do
two
look me some up.
two lighthouse keepers who like to take their clothes off. So I was
Oh,
all for that. Yeah.
tick some boxes for you, I
A
guess.
lot of boxes. So
I mean, I'm
yeah,
here to see Robert Pattinson without his clothes on, so I'll definitely jump over to that
yes.
one.
A lot of chronic masturbation in that.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very, very, if you don't know, it's very shocking when you watch it
Right.
because I didn't know. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's happening.
This is what's happening
Um,
now.
but there's like a really cool fantasy aspect with mermaids and, oh,
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
sirens would probably be the right
Right.
word to use.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, I'll definitely check those two out. So you're doing, what are you doing with that on NovaStream?
So that's the same director for both films, and he's about to release a new movie and a new TV show. And he's got a really distinct style of the way that he does his films. So we're just kind of exploring that and what to expect with his new
Oh,
movie and TV show.
so you'll be filming that and putting it on your YouTube?
That's what I want to do. A lot of the others are not as camera friendly as me.
Right.
Lurking. Hey Nick, thanks for the lurk. Hope you are well. Um,
Hi, lurkers.
yeah, so I'm gonna hopefully have that up at some point in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. I'll definitely have to check it out. We'll talk about
Yes.
it on here. Hopefully we can keep doing this if everyone likes it. Um, we can talk about it on here once you finish. I'm really excited to hear about music as well, so you have to tell me how that goes.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Playing, watching, reading. I know you're not big into reading, but
No,
I've
I
been reading.
am. I
Oh,
am.
really? I've been
Yes.
reading.
But yeah, what are you
So
reading?
Maud Garrett is boss bomb of Geek Bomb where I work, and she has a book club that is hosted over on Nerdist.
Okay.
And currently we are reading Dark Disciple, and it's a Star Wars book,
Hmm.
and it is amazing. And I'm here for it. I don't want to give too much away, because
Okay.
there are a lot of people who are also reading it for the book club at the moment.
Right.
Um, but any extra Star Wars content, like it's set between two films, and it goes deep dives into. Now I'm not going to be able to remember the name, and I should be, but it's on the tip of my tongue. Who is the Sith Lord who is like a robot and he has four lightsabers? Anyone in chat?
I
I
don't
forget
know.
his name.
But let's
That's
just
the Sith
go
Lord we're kind
the
of going
four
to.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of following that a bit more, which is not something we got to see too much in the films. So I guess I really like any extra Star Wars content as a big Star Wars nerd. Especially because this year I was supposed to go to Disneyland to the Star Wars
Oh
section.
no.
Of course, I'm not going to get to do that for like 2 more
Oh,
years
who
now, right?
knows?
So
Yeah.
who knows when we. So
Um,
any like ounce of that I absorb.
just to tie in, we
Mm.
watched The Mandalorian.
Oh, you
We
did.
did, and we didn't just watch it, we devoured it.
Yes,
Um,
it's like that, isn't it?
Thanks to Jamie on Twitter for letting me know to skip the first three episodes because we were struggling of season one, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so boring, I can't watch this.
Okay.
And then we just went straight to episode four, and we were both like, and then yeah, we got through it in like 2 days because we were just
Right.
like, I have to keep watching.
So,
Yeah.
for all of those who don't know, this stream can have spoilers in it, and I'm going to talk about some spoilers about Mandalorian right now
Okay, cool.
because oh my
All
god, that final episode. So
right.
okay. So when did you know that it was Luke?
Not until he just nearly took the hoodie off because
Right.
I was confused about the timeline.
Right.
So
Okay.
I thought it was way after 369, like way after. Especially, I think when they had those Dark Lord things, robots,
Okay.
there was
Yeah.
a lot of modern music.
Okay.
So I imagined that it was way after
Right.
369. And then when that Sith thing was happening, Luke's like, do you think? I'm like, no, he died. They won't do that. And then yeah, when I saw the face and the de-aging, I lost it. Lost it.
Yeah.
And then
Then you kind of place it in the timeline.
when R2 started talking to Grogu, I actually
Oh,
cried. And I don't know
yes.
why. There was just like that exchange. You have
Beautiful.
no idea what they're saying. But I'm just sitting there crying and Luke's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
So someone was trying to tell me that Grogu and R2D2 might have known each other because R2D2 and C3PO were droids of Anakin's. And so when the youngling attack happened with Anakin, that R2D2 might have been there and might have like known Grogu because
Oh.
that's what Grogu escaped from. So I'm curious.
Do you think we'll find out in season 3? Or do you think Disney will come out now and say, we've got a new show called Luke and Grogu? Or
Luke and Grogu.
R2 Grogu or something?
I
Um,
don't think we can. I don't think they're going to keep doing that like de-aging of Luke
it's
for like an entire
very
series, you know?
expensive.
Um, and I'm also not sure they did that de-aging like perfectly. I think it
It
did look off.
looked terrible.
Uh, I mean, I still loved it. I still cried, but
Yeah,
it didn't look great.
I think
Um,
because of the moment of what it represented, everyone just forgave it.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
totally.
I'm curious to see how they would continue Grogu's story and have. I think this whole time. Oh no, never mind. I thought I had the wrong title on the screen this whole time. Um, yeah, like and what I'm not sure how they can go ahead with Grogu's storyline with Luke involved. But what I am hoping is because did you see the final scene at the end of like in the middle of the credits with Boba Fett sitting down on I forget the name of the throne where Jabba the Hutt's throne. He like kills the new whoever is sitting there, and he kind of takes the seat, and then it's
No.
like coming December 2021. So I think they're following Boba Fett's story.
Next.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
And I guess I would really like to see Mando because now he has the dark saber. Um, what he does with that, like, if he kind of now that Grogu's kind of on his
gone.
path,
Yeah.
yeah, if the show can continue without Grogu and it can be focusing on Mando. I'm not sure it can because I know Grogu is such a huge part.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they would go from there, like how they would keep Grogu in the story.
Mm.
I guess Disney knows though.
Yeah.
They'll find a way to keep everyone well, not to keep everyone happy, but to keep us watching, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
It should be well, I'm glad you finally watched it though.
Yes. So happy.
And
Sorry,
what do you
so
think
back to
of
your book.
oh yes, yeah, Dark Disciple, great book.
Sorry.
You should read it.
Okay.
Um I've also been reading a couple of comics lately. I've been trying to get back into it, so I'm trying to catch up on the Eternals and kind of their backstory. Doing exactly what you don't want to do, and absorbing as much content as I can before that
Yeah.
comes out, as well as reading up more on some backstory behind WandaVision and what that means in the MCU universe. MCU universe. That's bad. But you know what I mean.
MCU. Yeah.
Yeah. So reading more comics. Thank God for Comixology because
Oh, I
I
know, right?
there is only one comic book store and that's in Brisbane, so I don't want to be heading to that area for a while with its
Yeah.
lockdown.
No.
Um,
Well, you might not be able to.
yeah, exactly. We'll see how that goes. So that's playing, watching. Oh, what are you reading?
Well, I'm reading something completely opposite.
Hmm.
So this year I'm starting a new side project because I need more. Um,
Yes, you don't, but continue.
it's fine. It's something I've wanted to do for a while. So, um, the book is called, oh my God, I just lost the title. The book's called Eat Delicious.
Okay.
And it's by a chef called Dennis the Prescott. That's literally
Okay.
his Instagram name.
Nice.
Um, and he learnt to cook from Jamie Oliver.
Oh wow.
Um, and so he's Canadian, so he learnt from Jamie Oliver and then wrote this book that's heavily inspired by Jamie Oliver's recipes, but got like this Canadian twist on it. So he made this TV show called Restaurants on the Edge on Netflix,
Okay.
and I love it. Because they pretty much go all around the world to these restaurants with amazing views,
Yeah.
but really garbage food and needs a renovation, and they come in, they
Right.
reno it, redo the menu, and these restaurants are like on the edge of cliffs. like
That's stunning.
in Greece, overlooking like the most amazing view, and you
Right.
walk in and they're offering fish and chips, and it's just
Okay.
completely out of place. So
Interesting
they,
choices.
yeah, it's on Netflix, and I just like devoured the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he wrote this book, and heavily, it's one of the first books where all of the photos are from his Instagram, and the recipes next to them, and then kind of like the story of how it came about. So it's like a good, each recipe is like almost a chapter
Oh
long
wow.
because there's all this research and everything behind it. Um, so yeah, so I started a channel called How to Eat. Um, and basically,
Amazing.
I'm my lovingly partner finally caved and bought me every KitchenAid thing you could ever want to cook like a proper chef.
Yes.
Um, so this year I'm going to be going through learning how to cook properly, and filming it just for fun because that's what helps me stay with
Yes.
things.
Did you
Um,
get like the chef's coat as well?
I know, but I got a um, Williams Sonoma apron,
Beautiful. Approved.
and I feel like I look like one of those. Do you remember the Daryl Lee girls in like the red and
Yes.
white? That's what I feel like I look like.
Amazing.
Um, so yeah, so I've already recorded a couple of episodes with some hilarious epic fails on there.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. I'm finding that it's just, yeah, and this book is so good.
Yeah.
Um, and just to like hear about like he was a drummer in a band,
Oh, wow.
struggling to make money, and he was on the road and he broke his arm and couldn't play, but he was still on the tour,
Yeah.
and he basically became the chef for the band, because they were just eating like crap every day. So
Yeah.
he literally went to the library of whatever country they were in, got a Jamie Oliver book and started cooking, and then it kind of all just like exploded
It's
from there.
dedication.
Yeah, yeah. So it's sorry, it's not very geeky, but yeah,
No,
it's
I think
like
it's pretty.
very exciting. It's such a good book. The recipes are great, and um, I said to Luke, you need to start working out because there's going to be a lot of food coming your way.
Well, yeah, you got to be testing everything. So when you
Yeah.
say you failed the first couple of times, did it taste all right?
It tasted amazing.
Yeah.
So the first thing I made was called a bundt cake. I've never made one before. Do you know what they
Okay.
are?
I've heard of that before. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I bought the mold, which is very heavy, and
Okay.
you can't put greaseproof paper in it because it won't get the shape.
Oh yeah, true. The shape.
So you have to. The recipe just said butter it, so I did, um, but not enough.
No.
So
Okay.
it did not come out.
Next
So
time,
I
more butter.
Yeah, a lot more butter. And then I literally had to like scoop the cake out, and it tasted delicious. And so it
Yeah.
was just like these chunks of cake sitting in a container, which have now disappeared. Um,
I think we can blame Luke on that.
which is fine. Like he said it was good, so I'm like, okay, good. It tasted good. That's great. It
Yeah.
just looks terrible.
Success.
Yeah, I took it as a half a win. Half a win.
Yeah. Tastes great. Doesn't always need to look great.
No, or
We'll
even
go with
resemble how it was meant to originally look.
yeah. Well, that's so. What's that channel called that you're doing?
How to eat.
Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
obviously YouTube.
Yes, so I haven't put any of the videos up yet because I want to try and edit them a bit more professionally.
Yeah. Okay,
Um,
awesome.
so that way I'm kind of working on both editing and cooking at the same time and do a couple of episodes at once and then just have them release every week without me having to sit down every week and do it, which I
Uh-huh.
think is a really good, really good way of doing things,
Yes,
unless you
agreed.
do timely pop culture stuff like this,
Yeah.
in which you cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year there's going to be a lot more timely pop culture stuff. I actually
Yes.
did an interview with. Have you heard of Level Up Dice before?
No. But
Probably
fill
not
me
because
in,
you're
fill
not
me
into
in.
Dungeons and Dragons. So Alex from Level Up Dice, I used to see him at every convention and go and buy a set of dice. They make like luxury dice for board gamers.
Okay.
And I got to chat with him for an interview that I'm doing for Geek Bomb, and
Hmm.
it just gave me that Comic-Con vibe again, like because he reminds me so much of cons because he would be the first stall I visited every time
that
I
you would
went. And
go.
so
Yeah.
yeah, what I'm hoping for 2021 is that there is at least some, like, give me 1 or 2 cons.
Yeah.
Like I will walk around in a bubble if I have to. Like, give me a con.
I think everyone would. I think,
Yeah.
that's what last year, was the first year that I didn't go. And do you know what's funny is in 2019, I said to Luke, I think I'm done with cons.
Oh no.
It was, which I don't want to name the one that we went to.
Yeah.
And there just wasn't much there. There was no vibe. It was a bit empty.
Yeah.
And I just turned to Luke and I'm like, I've done so many of these. I just don't think I can find anything today to use.
That yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna go home and just take some time for me. And then
Yeah.
last year I was like, by the end of the year I was like, oh, I
You're
just want to
craving
go
it
to a
again.
con.
I missed the one that I missed the most was Penny Arcade Expo.
Yes,
And
and
then I
that's
saw
not
that
the one I'm
PAX
talking
Oz.
about. I love every time I've gone to PAX, I've had the best weekend. The
Yeah,
best.
I think they have the right
Yeah.
mix of tabletop video games and
Mm.
panels.
Yeah.
They get every aspect right. So, the only thing that I think they just have less cosplayers, I guess, than other cons. There's so many people there, but not nearly as many. Like the ratio of cosplayers to normal guests is like
More
there's still a lot of
balanced. Yeah.
cosplayers because there's a lot of people, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's not. Yeah,
There's
so
definitely, more guests than
yeah.
cosplayers, which is good. Like, I find the vibe at PAX amazing.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely more of a community vibe.
yeah,
And I
definitely.
saw on their socials they said see you in 2021. So I'm hoping that means that they are pushing ahead with a con in November,
Yeah, I hope so.
please.
Even just
Um,
like from a diversity perspective, like I don't
yeah,
think I've ever gone to um, a convention with a dedicated area with non-stop panels and chats from all
yeah,
aspects of, the LGBTQ community ever.
yeah,
Like, just for that fact alone is like you could do the whole weekend and just do that. But then there's
yeah.
so many other things like, ugh.
I think they call it the diversity lounge, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just a space where the queer community could go. The queer community could go and hang out and play board games and meet each other, and a safe space and just an inclusive space. And like, not that PAX Oz and the other areas of PAX are not safe and inclusive, but just sometimes having that place where you
yeah. Like
connect with
this
the
is,
community, I think is
yeah,
yeah,
so
amazing.
good.
They do that well. Okay, I think that wraps everything up. Is there anything else that you wanted to chat about?
No, I think that's about
We've
it.
hit a lot of geeky moments.
Covered a lot.
Um, yes, we have. There are some really fun things that I want to talk about, but we haven't released the articles about them yet on Geek Bomb.
Okay.
So next week, if you are keen again, we can
Yeah,
chat through
send them
those.
to me so I can
I
read them
will.
first.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Instead of just throwing information at you. Thank you for joining me again,
That's all
and
right,
thank
thank
you
you.
to whoever's been. There has been one viewer of the stream the whole time, so thank you to whoever that is lurking. It might be James because he did say hello at the start, but whoever is lurking, hello,
Hey
and whoever's
James,
lurking on
thanks.
on Ali's stream.
Thanks, Dick.
Um, yeah. All right. Cool. Thanks for joining Geek Speak, guys.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay.